I promise no more videos on the free-to-play account, but I had to log in even though I was taking a pause on that account. Not a full pause, but at times I was just clicking for like 5 minutes. But for a few days I haven't been playing at all because I didn't have time. And I'll show you what's going to happen. We're gonna take second place in the arena. So most likely I'm gonna trigger the welcome back. Yeah, we're logging in. It's around midnight, yeah. So I haven't logged in for a while, but we're third in the arena. And this is unfortunate, but Yo-Yo chose to quit altogether. Because of reasons I can understand as well, with the introduction of new currencies, new hero, and so on. And this is a bittersweet second place. I mean, bitter because I wanted to keep this challenge running around for a bit longer with the Undertaker account, right? But it's not gonna happen, it seems, because well, when you see that there is this new hero, well, at the moment this is a new hero. Let's see, where is the new hero? Here. No, wait, wrong. The horn. That's the new hero Gerwolf. And it seems very much like that the Castle Tower team, so Theodorus, is gonna be beaten badly because the new hero is always the shiniest. And when you have multiplicative type of improvements, not additive but multiplicative, then we always have a problem, because imagine that we have a formation. And that's where I'm fully with you. By the way, in this account, there's a huge gap because all I have is just generation 0 or 1 or whatever heroes, very basic ones. But imagine that I place a next generation hero here, and the exact same units, I cannot do anything with the opponent. Then I place the next generation hero afterwards, then the next one, then the next one. Every single time the new hero beats the old one very badly, with the exact same teams. Then this means that every single time the game wants to introduce a new hero, unfortunately, this won't scale. And sooner or later something will break in the game. Something will break. How? For example, by a health meter not moving at all. I've seen this in the Guard Dragon. This is scalability. What if you ever develop a game economy and like a strength system, buffs, debuffs, spells, whatever else, it's very important that whenever you have improvements, they are supposed to be percentage based improvements with respect to the base stats. What do I mean by base stats? I go to the unit, and in the unit you have certain stats, like you have skill, relevance. There you go. Most people don't know that relevance is primarily important for pointers and roster, but secondarily, if you go down, so you see all the other heroes, all the groups, there is even a roster. That's a different type of rosterling, that's fine. But it is possible to somewhere see, let's see, where is it? Yeah, these ones. Advanced stats, range, movement speed, dodge, and so on. So you see these stats. Now, there are new ones as well introduced. Tenacity, critical hit, and so on. Whenever we get a new unit, we get some basic stats. And back like 4 or 5 years ago, when this was still important, I saw some Excel sheet circulating around. Like, I didn't see it 5 years ago, I saw it like around half a year ago. But I saw some Excel sheet circulating around that basically showed you what kind of base stats some units have. like range, movement speed, whatever else, or defense, HP. And as soon as you see that attack 198k, okay, here attack 233k, this is comparable. Let's see a defensive unit, 32,000. Okay, I understand the defensive unit has 1/10 of it. Here, what is the attack? 166k. Let's see some more attacks. So let's say some offensive unit. We can even make an offensive filter so that we compare. Let's see this very basic unit, 10,000. So how does the 10,000 compare to 320,000? Is it like a percentage that is like 30%, 50%? Hell not. So 10,000 to 320,000, it's basically 100% increment would be 20,000, 1,000% increment would be 100,000, 300 or 3,000% increment, more than 3,000% increment. This is when the change is not additive but multiplicative, which means that it changes like 10k, 20k, 40k, 80k, 160k, 320k. It's like exponential. You have linear and you have exponential. When you have linear, it's like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 in each step. When it's like exponential, 10, 20, 40, 80, 60, no, 40, 80, 160, 320, and so on. It always doubles. And you can imagine that in like 4 steps, like 4 generations, the new hero is not like 40k instead of 10k, but like 10, 20, 40, 80, 160, whatever, 80 or 160. And the more we go ahead in generations, the more you need to pump up some of the spells of the hero just to make a difference so that that hero is gonna be the new shiny things that people will buy. This is multiplicative gains and not additive gains. Another thing that Era of Chaos is trying to introduce but so far has failed is the rock, paper, scissors mechanics. Rock, paper, scissors is when you one beats the other. So let's say, for example, there is Raid Shadow Legends, okay? I'm gonna bring in Raid Shadow Legends. It's not the best game in terms of purchase value, so for pay-to-win players it's horrible. Let me bring this in. Here, the rock, paper, scissors mechanics exists in the following way. You have affinities. You see this red skull. You have different affinities, and when you play, you see this affinity chart. Blue is magic. Red is strength. And green, I forgot what it is, but it's green. Anyway, spirit, I think spirit. But you can think of it like water, fire, earth. And in this case, earth beats fire, fire beats water, don't ask me why, and water beats earth. In real life it's the opposite, but for the fire and water. So that's what you usually do, okay? And then there is void that doesn't have strength, well, it has strength but no weaknesses. And this kind of mechanic is gonna be present in Era of Chaos in the form of counter unions. So for example, you have this Gerewolf, and you see the spells. And you see as well what kind of units benefit, what kind of units don't. Doubled for Chaos Union DH units, you see. And sooner or later you see, for example in the Mighty Return, let's see Jessica. Well, I would like to see Jessica, but I cannot. But I can go to the heroes and I can show you Jessica. Oh, I have a new hero actually. Amazing. Completely useless one. So I'm gonna go to the second skull after Sandro, who is, I should have done this wheel like in the other way, this one. So here you see the different skills, different specialties. And if you read some of these, They are quite useful. Increases immunity of enemy Chaos Union units by an additional 1%. Increases immunity of all enemy units by 2%. So you see that something is going on with Chaos. With friendly Death Unions are getting bumped. But the opponent Chaos. And then you see certain stats. Spirit, whatever else, new spells. Hopefully they are some of them are gonna be farmable as well. And you see what, so that is supposed to counter Chaos. But for some reason, Jessica is far too weak to beat a Chaos Union team, including the previous generation hero. This is when you see that there are 5 unions and the Death Union happens to be somewhat weaker than the other unions. And given that I'm like a low VIP player, so here VIP 0 player, I have $0 invested in this account. If other people other people buy stuff and they quit, what does this mean to a VIP 0 account? Oh, amazing, I can increase a position. It's like the difference should be more, or no, should be less normally. So I didn't play with this account like thoroughly at all. Okay. So, but I'm still second at the moment with the VIP 0 account, just so that you know, at level 70 by skipping multiple days. And on the other days, I think I quit around like level 66 or so. And since then, all I did, I can show you what I did, so fairly minimal. So I log in, this, and it doesn't take a fortune, this. And this keeps my account afloat more or less. You see, I didn't even advance in Conflux Pain, I didn't even care about the rest. Glory Arena, well, I advanced somewhat. So today I won't. I mean, it's 5 turns. I don't care about this, I don't care about this. Then, you see, I'll click here, get the chests. I mean, it's not that hard to maintain an account like this. And then I go to the units and start making gold ones, because gold +1 is not attainable yet. Or is it? No, gold +1 is actually attainable, so I will continue with the Paladin. Or some other one here. Okay, so I'll invest this. Then I'll do the other one. I'm basically not following Awakenings at the moment. I forgot to get the daily. Told you I was leaving quite a lot of energy and everything else on the table. Get the energy because it's past the claiming time. And then, let's see, do I have any Awakening left? Yeah, actually I do, okay. Then I'll do Awakening. And I basically blow away all my remaining stuff on Rampart, Conflux. Well, there is no Conflux, there is Rampart. Maybe Inferno units are not bad either, because they could be alternate awakened, fine. So it's not rocket science. And I don't even do the Guild Adventure or some other thing. Oh, that's a Rampart unit actually, I like it. Then I do the purchase because like it's a couple of clicks. And this way you can maintain an account like really easily. And then you check, okay, fine, what else can I do to earn some more chests? Maybe Guild Technology, of course I'll donate, not a problem. Gold at least. Then I got some more chests, amazing. Then campaign, yeah, that's a bit harder because then you would fall back more and more, but as soon as you reach level 90 you don't even need to do anything. So it's like click. If I think about continuing this, maybe on another day I will, but other than that I won't. Then Gold Rush. Emblem, I don't mind. Guild Adventure, Duel of Champions. And you know, I just don't do Duel of Champions, for example. And then we're fine. Fortunately, I had some left over. I should have left some more. That's all I do. And then I basically keep the account somehow afloat. Yesterday I didn't log in. The day before I did, I think, on Monday. So that's the idea. Usually I log in with these like leftover accounts on Mondays to make progress in here. I made progress in like getting some visits. So obelisk visits, for example, you see that the others have found most of the obelisks and so on. So you see, I usually do this, and I could do this today as well. So I go to the town, and it's not rocket science. So basically all you do is visit this, if you choose to, then go here, do your 3 fights, go back to the town. Today I won't do my 3 fights, and do the best thing that you can. And that best thing is gonna be to collect the resources, because those don't hurt. I could have collected them like one by one, but I don't have time for it. Go back, maybe find a quartermaster here. I haven't even found that artifact mission because it doesn't matter that much. Oh, there are too many things. I just click. You see, this is not optimal gameplay at all. It's just keeping the account somehow afloat. And then where is the quartermaster? You know, I call him Bastard as well because he keeps on. Oh, there he is. Keeps on getting lost. Okay, I will approach it from the other angle, because no matter how much I don't maintain this account, and I couldn't care less about this account at this stage. Not that bad that I'm second with this attitude, you know. And I do this. Okay, one click doesn't hurt, down. And let's go back home. I don't have time to pick that, so I just avoid this like plague and go back. So you see, I can do things like this, and I didn't even fight the tunnel. And then I got quite a few other things completed. Yeah, I should have done like Duel of Champions or Tunnel or something to get the last chest. And that's tough because it's like 100, so yeah, that's just 40. I think what I need to do is one Duel of Champions. I think we can survive with the explanation and everything. So you see that when there is a rock, paper, scissors mechanic and the counter unions are supposed to be rock, paper, scissors mechanic, then if you have a game where rock can beat paper, that's not ideal. Rock can easily beat paper no matter what you do. And you know what's really bad? It's that if you use the exact same units, the hero itself is weaker against the hero that is supposed to beat. That's the problematic part. And once you see that, then you see that things are getting tougher. Things are getting tougher for certain unions. And then imagine that you buy a hero like this one, Gerwolf, for like 120 euros. It's like 1.5 AAA game price. And it's the best hero for like 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, for 1 month. And then comes the next hero, and it's like a next level on top. Of course the counter unions are not gonna work. Evident, isn't it? And then if you invested your money in this, your own money, then you have some stake in the game. And by the way, I'm not sure if Yo-Yo is a better player than me or not. It doesn't even matter. We're playing a different game. I'm seeing that he executed at least 95% of what I did with my other account, not the VIP0 account, but the other account. He did at least 95% of it. And he chose not to do the remaining 5%, which is, for example, if I go to the Glory Arena, sometimes I'm like 626, okay, let's refresh, 618, Let's refresh. 611. Let's refresh. 614. That's worse. So anything 611 or better, I'm gonna take. See? 610 challenge. So you see, I tend to do these things. It's like, why I can buy this for 10 diamonds. Evidently, when you have like a higher budget on the allocated on the game, you do this. This is a choice. It's not worse play, but this is a pay to win game, okay? So this means that if he chooses to take resources from other areas of his life to invest it in the game just to save time, that's understandable. Now, I may create some videos on how free-to-play friendly Hero of Chaos is. It's a lot more free-to-play friendly than, for example, Diablo Immortal or many others. If you have the right expectations, then you can reach a lot of goals. My goal was to reach top 5. I've done this sometime last week when I quit. And now that others quit as well, I took basically second place. Now, with Solvet he's off, Yo-Yo he's off, both of them were relatively high VIPs. This happened a lot faster than on other servers. And this is a skill, it's also an important skill. It's very much like corporate life. Emotional resilience. There will be things that are screwed up in the game, including the Guard Dragon part. So I wouldn't be surprised if Yo-Yo took back first place, let's say tomorrow, in 2 days, in 5 days, whenever. Because then we understand that it's just a matter of testing, giving feedback and so on. And then we resume. I've had my fair share of this as well. That basically I saw that the Guard Dragon is far too buggy and therefore I'm not in a position to compete. So these things have to be fixed. These are usually fixed. And then the balance is somewhat restored. But why is the balance not fully restored at the moment? You go to the store and you'll figure it out. Whenever you change the economy a bit, then people get a bit anxious, upset. For example, what can I do with 10 Astro Silver for 500 diamonds? It's so much cheaper than what I'm used to. So like 75% discount, or rather 70, because it's 1760 the real price. Then you start becoming anxious about it, that okay, now what strategy should I do? How should I and when? I answered some of these questions in a video. There is another new currency. This one, it's called Arcana Ore. So Arcana Ore, it's a new one. There are Divine Herald weapons. For example, Final Battle Angel weapons. And these weapons cost a lot more to upgrade than champion weapons. And in this case, who will win eventually? Whoever gets more diamonds than the others. How can you get more diamonds? Well, for some reason, who knows why, just before these changes, something called Growth Fund 3 got introduced, where you can dump like 100 euros of it, like 94.99, and get 110,000 diamonds. It's basically 2 Covenant pools. Once you get this, then you know that's a huge edge. Plus you have the VIP card, plus you have other ways to top up. So some people have an easier time with diamonds than others, obviously, and that's the pay to win nature as well. Oh, I got to level 71 in the meantime, I didn't even notice. So that's the idea. Now, as a conclusion, let's compare 3 different gaming experiences. One of them is that this is the free-to-play account. Frankly, if I continued playing well, I would be somewhere between Megalodon and Yasin, somewhere between 3rd and 4th place. closer to the third place than to fourth place. I strongly suspect that's the case. So something like 325k or 3.25 million is what I would suggest. With this account, that is actually something along the lines of VIP 4, maybe VIP 5. There were more purchases in it, obviously. I'm second right now. And it's going quite well. Until Yoyo did something to improve his position from like 410k, 20k to 480k. This was on level 75. I'll figure out what happens on level 75. Maybe I'll get the same creep, some backup formation or something that will give you a big boost. I was behind him by like 200,000, 300,000 power. So it's like, normally once I get to level 76, I would expect to be at around 460k. Power, there is not a big difference between 484 and 460 something in terms of power. But when I attack him, I just cannot demolish 10% of his health meter, because he has like 3 generations higher heroes, and he has many other things as well. That is in his advantage. Obviously, I won't be able to compete with that. But he's playing a different game, and whatever he purchased, obviously, based on those purchases, based on the nature and the rules of the game, he deserves first place. And in fact, he did a lot of things for the guild as well. Everyone else benefits from that. So that's how this works. And it's tough. It's really tough, because the more invested you are in a game financially, the more it hurts when things backfire. When some of the changes don't scale, they cause potential bugs, issues. I've lived through it myself with the Guards Dragon bug back in the days. But eventually we will go through it, and you know what? If there is a glitch in the game, your task as a player is to exploit it. Your task is not to give. If you give up, you have lost, basically. So this is why I would rather think along the lines of, what can I do with a bug like this? Now, evidently, the problem is that if people quit, then there are going to be less spenders, and less spenders, it means that there are going to be less updates to the game, which we don't want. And for this reason, what I really want the team to consider so that we succeed is that in many companies there are different functions. One is engineering, one is product, and the third one is UX, user experience. Plus there could be some others as well. It is not supposed to be an engineering decision to run the economy of a pay-to-win game. It is supposed to be a different function, because an engineer may not be a UX specialist who are in touch with users. An engineer, or an engineering manager, or even worse, an engineering manager for that matter, is gonna know algorithmically what is going on, what the numbers mean. They are gonna be proficient in the background, the algorithms, everything. But they will have absolutely no idea what players feel, different clusters of players. I've lived through the same thing in the poker world, online poker world. There were winning players and losing players as everywhere. 5% were winners, 95% were losers, approximately. Long term. After the rake was applied. Now, based on these 5% winners, we could choose to make approximately 20% of the player pool's winners via rake back, which means that you pay rake to the casino so that you can play, and then they gave some percentage of it back to you. And then some more players started winning. But as soon as too many people started winning, the losing players got discouraged, so there were less losing players, less fish to catch. And as soon as there were less losing players, the winning players started winning less, they started complaining as well, and the ecosystem started breaking. This is when they introduced the change from dealt rate rakeback to contributed rakeback, then to weighted contributed rakeback. Every single change changed the dynamic of the game, because the less beneficial it is for you to just sit and fold your cards and generate no action, the more players will eventually play. And this basically started spicing up the game, because with weighted contributed rakeback, what happened eventually is that whoever risked the most money got the most rewards, disproportionately. And this changed the game, and all of a sudden bad players started getting more action. But then there was the next problem, that a winning player was still getting too much, because you could be like a lose winning player as well. And then big rooms started cutting down on rewards for winning players, and this chased away some winning players, and then the losing players started becoming more happy. So this is an ecosystem, and all these models, everything else, were product decisions. Engineers had absolutely no idea. I've worked in a team that created online casinos, online poker rooms, online these things, back in long time ago, really long time ago. And I saw that basically out of the whole development and product team and everyone else, I think I had by far the most skill in terms of poker, understanding the game. Which was a unique thing, because I was an engineer there and a manager afterwards, so I know what I'm talking about. But at the same time, other engineers took significantly worse decisions in terms of what would be good for the player. They didn't even care, they just implemented the algorithms and so on. Then the product team. I could talk to the product team, and I knew that even though they were most likely not winning poker players themselves, for example, but they understand what the consequence of their decisions mean, because they could get a feel for it after basically knowing some economics, some models, some other things, because that's their job. And if they don't know it, then they figure it out, and sometimes, they could ask me about certain things. And this is when you see also in Era of Chaos that we would need these kinds of people who are not engineers, not developers, but those who know what players feel when they see this event almost every month. And this event is collect candy almost every month. But for 3 months there was a Vidomina Cauldron every single month. And in the last 2 months there was no Vidomina, and I'm suspecting there will be no Vidomina at the end of this week too. I really hope I'm wrong. So when you see this, then you understand that the choice of events are a bit random at the moment. Some events, some of them were excellent, like reception wise. For example, Dining with Heroes. Dining with Heroes was ran once, like a bit more than a year ago. Some of these events just ran once altogether, and that was it. While we keep on repeating the same other events, for example, this candy event, like what can I do with it? I don't care about this. Well, it somehow helps. It's more than nothing, but I don't care about this. This is overpriced for 40 candies, especially if you mix red and green. It's horrible, because then you can, it's like 2 rewards instead of 1. No way. This, what is this? I get this like 10 SSR, we get 40 every Sunday. Why? Champions, at the moment, champions are not that important. Commanders are even less important. I mean, champions, you would prefer pooling them in covenants. I'm quite certain that at this stage this price is worse. and then give me a break. SSR, random, why? Eternity Adamant, okay, I might take it, although champions went down in value with Divine Herald weapons and potentially Awakening. And the rest, well, the hero tokens, I may get them, fine. What an event. It's like, I'm saying, why? Well, I understand why. You have this box and you can discount it to 70 euros instead of 115. And then, but look at the rewards, you don't want these for that price. But then why the hassle for this event? There are so many. Healing Sea, when was last Healing Sea introduced? That's an amazing event as well. And many others. So there you could generate some variety. And I really, really hope that the game is going to improve big time after the conclusions, because I can see on this specific server what the end result of some of the latest decisions have been. I've been asking for some transparency. I'll show you the transparency here in like Raid Shadow Legends. It's a bit hard to show it, but let's see, I may go to the arena. I would love to see something like this. Classic arena. Let's see, I'll refresh this one as well. Maybe I'll be able to find a fight that is worth taking. It's a bit hard. That's one of the worst things in Raid Shadow Legends. But you know what? I will find this one. I will play this. Doesn't matter. I'm not saying that this is a better game. In fact, it's a lot worse in terms of like free-to-play, pay-to-win. Look at the info part. You know, at every single point in time, and you can even pause, by the way. Although it's... I would love to pause and then be able to read, but you know every single time what is happening. And if you didn't, then there is all buffs and debuffs, everything explained. Oh, and by the way, it's quite easy to stop the battle. There you go, battle is stopped. You go to the info, you see that this Toragi the Frog has reflect damage 30% and decreased defense 60%. The first is a buff because it's blue, second one is a debuff because it's red. You see at every single second what buffs and debuffs exist. And if for any reason you didn't know what is going on, you could read everything. Like most people will never do this. But there is all information on screen, without exception. What you need to know. It's like a rulebook. Back in the days, if you played AD&D or whatever other role-playing game, you had a big rulebook, and then you had to go to the session with the rulebook that you read. Okay, here there is nothing like this in Era of Chaos. That's the issue. Sometimes you go to some unit, and I hope I have some Divine Herald like Wilderness Trackers, and I can hear already Hate complaining in his videos when he creates, like, let's say from Wilderness Tracker. Let's see the skills, and then oh, a lot of text. I will start throwing up. See, and like a lot of text, and then in some of the text, you see, sometimes it's a bit ambiguous. Each time a friendly Lost Land unit is deployed, increases Wilderness Tracker's elemental attack and elemental defense for 4 elemental ties for this. How does elemental attack and defense work? After playing for more than a year, I regret to say maybe a lot of people will start getting shocked, but I have no idea about elemental attack like fire, water and so on yet. Why? For 2 reasons. One, I got never introduced to it in the game anywhere. 2, I never needed it. I never needed it because I was a lot stronger than anyone else in some servers, and I was a lot weaker on other servers. So I never needed to just gain a little bit of edge. So I missed this concept elemental attack. And then you see some of the skills, hopefully we have some others. Stacking 14 times, that's also interesting because if it's, sometimes you have an infinite stacking. gains 12 instances of damage immunity when deployed. You know what the problem is with damage immunity? How is it defined? I don't see a definition. Second problem, how do I know how many stacks of damage immunity are on the unit at a given point in time? I cannot pause and check out what buffs and debuffs are on the unit. This is what I would like to see. Otherwise, Raid Shadow Legends battles are like a glass box. Era of Chaos battles are more like a dark gray box, almost black box. What you can do is you go to the settings, somewhere, special effects block, this, all special effects. And once you do a battle, let me do a Duel of Champions, then you will see what is going on. Unfortunately, the next Duel of Champions battle may be a bit short if the opponent is weak. Hopefully you're strong. Well, you're not strong, but what can I do? So we start playing. I go back to 1x speed. Opponents are basically dying quickly. Sun Monster, you see these yellow text that you could see on the left. Those are this hunt thing. These are the skills. But I cannot pause and say that this skill is gonna be in effect because of whatever reason. That's the problem. Because then I don't know how many stacks of damage immunity are added and what damage immunity exactly means, because every single unit has to have different buffs and debuffs. It's not like the same buffs and debuffs are used for different units. Because otherwise you would not be able to get the newest shiny units on. So you see, we're playing. And this is just one problem. The other problem is that I cannot tell this unit to attack this opponent, or whichever opponent. I have limited control over the hero by casting certain spells. That's all I can do. So for this reason, Era of Chaos battles are more like a black box than a glass box. We would need to make it more of a glass box somehow. According to the best of my knowledge, the Chinese version of this game has some sort of an experimentation of what is going on. I would love to help you with that as well, because the main reason why I am in the game is twofold. One is to study and understand the economics of different types of players. Second, to understand battle systems, rules. And for the latter one, I would love to see some sort of a feature where I can start experimenting. I'll show you how. For example, I would like to see what happens if I create a formation, for example this one, with the same hero. I place a defensive unit and I place an attacking unit after it. And then we set up the defense in the following way. It's gonna be a different formation, like this one. Same hero though. And we add the same defensive unit. And which was the attacking unit? I completely forgot. There was an attacking... I hope it's not the devil, because... yeah, it's the Naga, okay. So this is the defensive unit. And this is the attacking unit. But this time they are gonna be swapped. And in this case, you can theorize whether it makes sense that the attacker unit is behind the defensive unit or whether it doesn't make sense. You see no special effects are in play, and you see these yellow things. If you go down to 1x speed, you will see what is going on. And you see like this blade something, but it's really hard to read these blade ashes, you see. That's when the blade ashes skill gets activated. And when you see it at 1x speed, you see that placement actually matters. because on the right they are losing badly. It's still almost it's still the same units, not almost, but exactly the same units. But I would assume that if you keep on doing the same placement, and for the theorizing I can significantly weaken the unit by giving it like a very basic defensive unit and giving it the same defensive unit here, then you will see that the attacker unit is not protected by the defensive. And if you run this often enough and you see what is going on, even with different units, then you will see which unit is worth more in a vacuum. Now, the next type of battle is, imagine you have a Naga only, and imagine that on the other side you have the Pit Fiend. And then the question is whether the SR unit Pit Fiend or the SSR unit Naga wins in a vacuum. And then you start making this black box a bit lighter. And you see that the Pit Fiend is doing actually quite well and is healing, but after a while it just doesn't have a defense against the Naga. So you see that the Pit Fiend is healing. But then you have to conclude, and this is where experience comes in, that the role of the Pit Fiend is not to be an attacker, but to be a healer. This Fire Spring is the name or something. A healer that happens to deal damage as well when protected. So you need to protect the Pit Fiend as much as possible so that some healing happens. It has nothing to do with Heroes of Might and Magic. This is an Era of Chaos suite. And then as you continue figuring out what each unit does, like in a workshop, and how the skills get activated, then you will understand more about the game. But for that we need bit more things. We need, for example, to know, you see how much I cared about this account, I guess. How many do I have? Like how many? Come on, I didn't see. I think I have quite a significant amount of, let's see. Yeah, 800 something. Okay, doesn't matter. So you also need to see what you do. So you see that some of these skills are, you can enable them, disable them. I often disable, for example, this one. But if you go to this whole thing is a passive skill. A passive skill means that it's always activated. There is absolutely no way to deactivate, for example, Legendary Hero Armor. I have Legendary Hero Armor +1 on this account, and I cannot deactivate it. Once you got it, either by purchasing it for $47 or euros, or by collecting the pieces, I did the latter, as a free-to-play account in 8 weeks. There is no way to get rid of it. So this means you won't be able to test in a vacuum what it would be like to have an attacker team and a defender team with the exact same formation, heroes, everything, backup, whatever, but one has the hero armor, the other one doesn't. What kind of role does it play? How does it interact with the units? No one has this experience. No one. Except if you created 4 or 5 accounts, but then good luck to get a life, right? So this is another place where a regular player has just no idea what is going on. We know that this is strong, it's important, we need to collect it, +3 it, and so on. That's all we know. And then we follow it like lemmings. Like some lemmings will survive, others won't. That's the problem with the game. And while this quitting from the end of Yo-Yo is not overall positive for the game and for the player either, it's still something that some people just got to the tipping point today because of the latest decisions. I didn't, because as I said, I treat these games like an AAA at most, or a subscription service of like a $10 to $20. And I've burned $10 to $20 on things that I didn't use a couple of times in the past. So it's not a big deal. But as soon as someone is willing to go up to like VIP 10, 11, 12, whatever, I happen to inherit one VIP 10 account too. So as soon as they go up there, then obviously some of the changes will hurt more because they are a lot more invested in the game. So you see, it's still free-to-play friendly somewhat. And the experiment itself ended a bit more quickly, but I will continue maintaining the guild with the Undertaker account. Hopefully this is understandable. And if Yo-Yo comes back at any time, is more than welcome to get back the guild leadership, because after all he created the guild. And that's it. With these changes, you see that it was not just a one-time show to get to the top 5 with this free-to-play account. I'm still second and I skipped many days. And on most of the days when I did pay some attention to it, because I have like 5 to 10 minutes, I executed just that and nothing more. And I'm still second. And I don't know if others are attacking. Yeah, they do. Let's see what they do. Of course he attacks. Why wouldn't he? Okay, one day he's gonna beat my account. Maybe within 2, 3, 4 days. I wouldn't give myself more than a week. One important thing though is that from the perspective of game economy management, a strong player quitting opens up the vacuum. So anyone in here may think that they can buy first place, and then they may go for it. Because to be first, it's people's goal, I guess. So there, it is possible that we're gonna get another big spender fighting against Undertaker. And Chapel is just a maintenance account at the moment. If a maintenance account at all. Yesterday I didn't even have time to do maintenance.